Hi, ladies and gentlemen. We need a little bit of a mental break after that word problem day, don't we? So lucky for you guys, the next lesson is kind of straightforward, pretty easy stuff compared to that, okay? It's about adding and subtracting polynomials, which in other words is just combining like terms and being careful about negative signs. That's really all we're doing is combining like terms. If we're going to add or subtract polynomials, the first thing we want to do, there's a couple of ways that you can do it, okay? When you add stuff, it doesn't matter what order you add things. 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, those are both 5. So it doesn't really matter what order I add or subtract these things, and it doesn't really matter if I group them together first. Okay, so the parentheses that you see here, the reason I say that is because the parentheses are pretty unnecessary in this particular case. Okay, I'm just adding and subtracting straight across, right? I'm adding this polynomial to this polynomial. Okay, so if I just look at all the, if I look at it without parentheses, it's going to look something like this. 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 9 plus x cubed plus 6x squared plus 11. And without the parentheses, it looks like just a combining like terms problem. So I'm going to go to the highest power of x. This is a cubic polynomial, right? A third degree polynomial because x cubed is the highest power. I have 2x cubes here. I have one more over here. So if I add those together, that gives me 3x cubes. And what I typically like to do in a case like this is like make either a little slash through it so I know I've taken care of that. Or maybe I put a little check mark above or something, some kind of mark symbol that I'm going to make for myself that kind of signifies that, hey, I've taken care of this term. Okay, it's going to be easy to lose track of it because you got a lot of stuff going on. If I look at the x squareds, that's the next power. I have 6x squareds here. I have negative 5x squareds here, and 6 minus 5 is a single x squared. So I'd be plus 1x squared, and once again, a little slash or check mark or something. If I go to the x's, I only have a single x. It's right here. Nothing to combine it with, so plus 3x. And then as far as the constants go, that's the numbers without the x, remember. That's 11 minus 9, which is a 2. So pretty straightforward. Now, I will show you real quick, I'll only do it on this problem. Some people like to add them vertically instead, kind of like you used to add like 5 plus 3, and you do it vertically instead of horizontally, 5 plus 3 this way. So if you like to do that, the only thing that you have to keep in mind is whenever we go to add, that you have to have basically placeholders for every power of x. So let me show you what I mean real quick. If I was going to do the same problem vertically, you could do it this way. You could say I have 2x cubes. I have negative 5x squareds. I have 3 x's to the first power, and I have negative 9 for the constant. Sorry about the slanted there. Second term, I'm going to add then x cubed. I'm going to add 6x squared. I don't have any x's, so I'm going to skip a spot, and I'm going to go on to 11. So maybe I can do like plus 0x plus 11, right? I need to make sure in other words, I need to make sure things vertically align. So the plus 0x is a nice little trick, by the way. That's going to help us in later lessons when we start doing things called synthetic division and long division. But that's basically the idea. And if you do it this way, you can see 2 plus 1 is 3x cubes. 6 minus 5 is positive 1x squared. 3 plus 0 is 3x's. And 11 minus 9 is 2. So you get the same answer, just a different look, right? And some people would prefer that. All right, so let's go on to subtraction, and this is the tougher one. And the big idea is this: of all things, the one mistake that you will make is you will forget that I am not subtracting just the 8x cubed. I am subtracting everything, this entire chunk of information, that big number there. I'm subtracting it all, which is a way of saying, listen, that negative sign needs to be distributed to all 4 of the terms that we have here. And so the way that I would do it, if this is me, I would just say I've got 3x cubes. I would write it out if it's me. Plus 2x squareds minus x plus 7. Okay, that's easy enough. But now I'm going to subtract an 8x cubed. That sign gets flipped. This sign gets flipped. A minus a negative makes a positive, right? Subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding. So plus an x squared plus a 5x. And then flip the sign here, minus a 1, right? And so now when I do that without parentheses, now it's just adding and subtracting. Now it looks like this step that we did up here, right? So I come over here and I say, okay, x cubes first. I have 3x cubes. I'm going to take 8x cubes away. That's going to leave me with negative 5x cubes. Little slash here. Done with those. As far as x squareds, I have 2 here, Another one here, that's a grand total of 3x squareds. As far as x's, I have 5x's minus an x, so 4x's remaining. And as far as the constants go, I have 7 minus 1. So big things to look out for. If I have a minus sign, everything inside of it gets the sign flipped. If you can remember that, really, everything else is pretty much cake, okay? And then it's just combining like terms after this step, after we rewrite. And I do rewrite after every single step because that helps me eliminate silly mistakes. So hopefully that makes sense. That's finding the sum or difference, just a straightforward problem. You can see if you saw there down at the bottom of your page. The next thing is let's go through and let's do a word problem that kind of applies this concept.